A major surprise in the Oscar Grant murder trial today. The former BART cop who killed Grant took the stand in his own defense. And for the first time, we see a photograph that Grant took himself just moments before he was killed. Robert Lyles was in the LA courtroom on what turned out to be a very dramatic day. Robert.
Dana's surprise is right. In fact, the entire courtroom gallery was surprised when 28-year-old Johannes Mehserle walked up to the defense stand, or taking the stand in his own defense. Now, he was looking boyish, he spoke nervously, but he spent an hour and a half painting a picture to the jury that he is anything but a murderer. But late tonight, another picture of Mehserle emerged, this one released from the county courthouse. This, according to prosecutors, is a photo that Oscar Grant snapped of Johannes Mehserle holding a taser, what the prosecutor says, in the minutes before Grant was shot and killed. Now, the prosecutor introduced this photo as evidence, suggesting that Mehserle was familiar with his taser and not confused, as his defense has stated. The second never-before-seen photo was also released from the court. This is a mugshot of Mehserle. It was taken following the shooting. A very sullen look on the 28-year-old officer's face. Now, contrast that with this mugshot of Officer Tony Peroni. It, too, was taken following the shooting. It shows Peroni smiling in the mugshot. Now, other unseen images was this video. Since the start of the trial, it has been identified as the Karina Vargas video. It is the first clear images of the BART platform and the shooting. Now, what it shows, and apparently what the prosecutor has been arguing to the jury, is that Peroni was on top of Oscar Grant. Now, that's Officer Woofington, Mehserle's partner, in the foreground. Mehserle is behind him. Now, the video expert testified that it took 4 tugs on Mehserle's service belt and his holster to get that weapon out of his holster. They're trying to establish that BART had no specified rules in place on where to holster or carry that taser. They're claiming that in the heat of the moment, Mehserle mistook that service gun for his taser. Now, we talked about Mehserle trying to paint a picture of himself other than a murderer. This is what he told the jury when he first took the stand. Mehserle stated that in high school, he was voted most huggable at Napa High School, and that he just had a baby boy with his girlfriend a year and a half ago. Mehserle goes on to say that he did not want to work New Year's Eve 2008, the night of the shooting. He said that is because his girlfriend was put on bed rest that very day. Mehserle also told the jury he, quote, always enjoyed talking to people, and that's why he wanted to be a cop. Now, Mehserle also addressed questions of what his relationship was like with Officer Tony Peroni. This is Mehserle's quote to the jury. He reminded me of my drill instructor in the academy. He was hard-nosed. No surprise if he was in a shouting match with someone. He was always on the radio. Now, a number of photos and documents have also been released from the court, many of them showing blood-soaked clothes. Other photos showed Oscar Grant's cell phone. There are also photos of other digital cameras that were left on the BART platform, but namely there are other photos of each and every officer that was on that BART platform. Mugshots were taken of each of them. Each of those were introduced as evidence. The prosecutor is trying to prove exactly what the state of mind was of these officers before, during, and after this shooting. Dana, there was an amazing amount that happened in this courtroom today, particularly with the video expert telling the jury that what they saw in that video is not what they saw. He, in fact, says that Oscar Grant and all of his companions were actually fighting Mehserle and the fellow BART officers. So that sprang an entirely new discussion. Mehserle is expected to take the stand yet again tomorrow, where he will inevitably be cross-examined. It's turning out to be an explosive day here in Los Angeles.
Yes, we're going to take a look at the picture that Oscar Grant took right before he was shot again. And what it shows here, what we're seeing is that Mehserle is holding the taser in his right hand. Did they say whether he was right-handed or left-handed?
In fact, they did. He admitted that he is right-handed. In fact, he says BART had 3 different policies or procedures in place on how to hold their holster. So he's creating the picture that despite the fact he's right-hand dominant, because BART didn't tell them exactly where to put that weapon on their person, he didn't know what to do with it.
All right. We look forward to further reports from you. Robert Lyles in Los Angeles, thank you.